would prefer a song written by a ghostwriter that's good than a song written by the artist. And it's, I know in hip hop, people really get worked up a lot about ghostwriters, but me personally is like, I really don't care who wrote the song as long as the song is good. I don't care. And I wish more of the girls would adopt the attitude. I feel like ghostwriting is really important when it's like a rap battle or a song that's part of a beef. And okay, then maybe the person should be writing songs. But like if a song is supposed to have like radio play value, it's supposed to be played in clubs, it's music for people to dance to, get that ghostwriter. Call them up. I still listen to Megan's new song, and I just want to say that I think Megan's a phenomenal rapper. I think out of the rap girls, like if we're going bar for bar, she's better than 95% of them, including the one that y'all call Queen. To me, Megan is a better rapper. I think Megan's problem is that she cannot write a radio hit because being able to write bars is very different than being able to write a song. And Megan keeps proving to us that she can't write songs. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying, like bringing in a ghostwriter. Like, yes, you write all the bars yourself, right? And you write all the verses. That makes sense to me. But when it's time to write a hook, when it's time to write a melody, when it's time to like put a song in a correct order so that it works, to me, I don't think she does that very well. And I think she should bring in a ghostwriter to do it for her. Someone to be like, okay, we're going to start off with 2 lines from the hook here, repeated 2 times. Then we're going to do 16 bars here, and you can write those 16 bars. Then I'm going to write a melody to go right here in the middle, and then another 16 bars. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, someone should structure a song for her. Because I think often when I'm listening to her music, I'm listening and I'm hearing her bars, and I'm like, wow, that's a really good bar. Like, wow, she's really good. Like, it's so good, right? But the song, the melody of it kind of sucks, and because of that, it has no real replay value, right? Like, the first time I hear it, it's really impressive because I'm really impressed by your bars, but I don't really want to replay it because the instant, like the melody, the harmony, it all sucks. I think it's what Cardi B does really well is the opposite, right? Where Cardi B maybe won't give you the best bars ever, but Cardi B is very good about being able to structure a song correctly and really understands a good hook and like a good melody, right? So no matter what, Cardi B will make you a catchy song. So even if you think that the bars are kind of corny, the song will be catchy enough to the point where it's like, oh, sure, I'll listen to it again. There are a lot of artists who I think get too much creative freedom, and I think it's because there are 1 or 2 artists who are such visionaries, like for example would be like Kanye West or SZA, right? Who like can just see an entire project all the way through and like are just can see all of it. As they're writing the music, they can see, you know, what the videos look like, what the cover art would look like are just very, very like tunnel vision, can see it all, right? And I think fans' obsession with having artists do everything, right? And then also the label is going to push for it too because it's less expensive, right? It's less expensive to not to have to hire a team of 8 people to do a project when one person can just do it by themselves. And this expectation for people to be expertise in all of these different fields if they're going to put together a project, when 20 years ago these were the jobs of 5 or 6 different people. And now an artist is not a real person, even though they're not a real artist, and we can't take their artistry seriously if they're not the ones who write and produce and do the background vocals and also, you know, direct their own music videos and put together concept ideas for their albums. Like if they're not doing all of that all by themselves, then they're not real artists. And to me, that's not like a fair weight and responsibility to put on an artist. Megan Thee Stallion, Ciara, Chloe Bailey are all artists who I think crumble under that kind of pressure, right? Who I think as artists could be so much better if they had a bigger team. If there were just more people who were professional in this just one lane, right? To come help you out and do that one thing instead of expecting all artists to be kind of like a jack of all trades. Instead of expecting everyone to have a general working knowledge of everything, why don't we hire people who are expertise at this one thing? So when I say I think that Megan gets too much freedom, what I mean by that is not even that I feel like that's like a negative way to put it. I don't mean that she needs to be more restricted. What I mean is that she needs a bigger team. Like I wish there were more creative people on her team and by her side, because to me, I think that she is a good raw first draft idea person, and I think that she needs someone on her team who's like an executioner, right? Someone who like can take her raw idea and be like, okay, I see where you're going with this, and like really flesh it out. For all of her albums, so many of her concepts, so many of her like her visual aids and stuff that go with her songs, to me look like really cool first drafts. Like I'm like, oh, this could have been a really cool concept had it been fleshed out more. So like for her last album, when she did the whole metamorphosis thing, right? And then she started off by doing a snake and then switched over to like the album cover being a butterfly, and the album cover I still stand by is so ugly. But it's just like, why'd you switch over from snake to butterfly and then just stick to the snake theme? Like that was cool. Why didn't you just stick to that? Same thing when like Good News came out. The idea of putting out an album, your album rollout being like a newspaper is really cool, but it's like that idea was never saw, like nobody ever saw it all the way through. Like why did you just throw that out there and it was just a thing for the album cover, but we never saw that like throughout your album rollout and throughout that album itself. We didn't see that theme repeated again. Like this photograph to me is another great example of this. Like this is the best photograph I think I've almost ever seen her take. Like this would be such a phenomenal album cover. And it's like, this is so good. And I promise you that when she puts out her next album, the next album cover will not be this good. And it's like, why'd you just waste this picture for this thing? Like this is an album cover. It feels like so much of the stuff related to her music is obviously like her picking her own personal preferences, which can work sometimes, but it's sometimes kind of iffy when, I'm sorry to say it, but like your personal taste is kind of iffy. When it comes to imagery that is related to your albums, right? When it comes to imagery that is supposed to be the face of whatever it is that you are selling, that is not about personal taste. Like, there is a reason why record labels will spend millions of dollars a year on marketing and marketing research, because marketing is not about personal taste. Well, I like this one. I like this one as an emotion, and marketing is literally a science. For this song specifically, I think that obviously the hook that she teased is really good. Like, I think that's so good, and the beat that that guy made is phenomenal. Like, what a perfect beat, right? And I think that the my man part is so good. I also really like the first verse. I think the first verse is also so good. I think she loses me where she starts doing that pop that whatever part where it's supposed to be like a melody where I'm just like, wow, that sucks. Yeah, and I think this song sounds like a really good first draft that had someone more creative on her, been on her team, heard it, been like, okay, cool, there's a concept here. Like, there is something that we can work with here, and let's like flesh this out a little bit more. The main problem is that the song takes itself too seriously. Like, I'm listening to the song and I'm watching the music video, and I think that's obvious that you're being dead ass serious. I think this would be a more fun song, and it would work better if it was more playful, if it was a little bit more joking, it was a little bit more exaggerated to the point of like kind of being sarcastic. Like, one of the things that really made WAP work, whether people realize it or not, is that WAP was really fucking funny. Like, at its core, the lyrics of that song were really fucking funny. Like, want you to park that Big Mac truck right in my little garage. You know what I'm saying? Like, gobble me, swallow me. Like, they were being so exaggerated that it was really funny and very entertaining. And I wish that this song leaned into that as well. I love the music video though. I think this is one of her best music videos, right? Like, this to me is so ego coded by Beyonce. And again, Ego by Beyonce is a song that is so exaggerative that it is kind of funny, right? Like, she's taking it so far that it becomes kind of humorous and playful. I wish this song did the same thing. Every lyric in this song is so serious, and like, it's like, why? This part of the music video, to me, the minute I saw it, I immediately thought of Sierra Promise, and then it clicked in my head. I was like, oh my god, this is a song Sierra should be featured on. Like, for forever, I've been like trying to figure out, like, what is Sierra doing? Like, I don't understand the kind of music she's making. Makes zero sense to me. Like, her entire direction, all of it makes zero sense to me. And hearing this song, My Man, I'm like, this is a song that Sierra should be on. I think it would have been a funner song had number one, Megan Thee Stallion pushed towards the dramatics and pushed to being like exaggerating and dramatic and been like, my man, like, he would die for me. My man would pick up a semi truck if I asked him to. My man would walk through the desert for 50 days and 50 nights with a glass of water in his hand to make it all the way to me, and wouldn't drink a single sip of it. And when the water got to me, it would still be cold because that's how much he loves me. Like, that's the vibe I wanted her to have. She has a dance break with her girls, and then I think like halfway through the song, Sierra should have shown up with her girls, right? And then Sierra's verses should have been like, my man, my man. Sierra comes with like, my man would clear traffic for me. My man would walk on water for me. My man would bring back an endangered species if I asked him to. Essentially having a like my man off, right? Like, my man is better. No, my man is better. No, my man is better. And then the same exact time, them and the girls are having like dance offs with Megan Thee Stallion and her backup dancers, and Sierra and her backup dancers. I think the song is really long, and there's a part near the end where she says, okay, hear me out, and it sounds like she's gonna start rapping again, and instead she goes back to that kind of cheesy part where she does the melody again, and it's like, yeah, a little beat drop here would have also been great towards the end of just like, you know, like another little 16 bars over like a harder or more aggressive beat would have also kind of helped. Then once the song took off and became a success, right? Because we all know, I say all the time, like, nobody's more my man down than the rap girls, right? Then it could have been like other versions of the rap girls for remixes, like showing up and being like, y'all talking about y'all man, now let me tell you about my man. My man will fly across the world backwards to make time stop so that he can meet me sooner. My man showed up to my birthday dinner with the moon, the stars, and the sun in his back pocket because that's what I wanted. I don't know, I just feel like there was an opportunity to make a really fun and funny song here, and to me it takes itself much too seriously, and then the context of it isn't like good enough to justify the level of seriousness that she's taking it. It's a great music video though, but I don't know, that's just what I think. I know you guys are gonna feel differently, but I probably won't be listening to it again.
It does not matter how good you are, how much money you make, how great of an entertainer, celebrity you are. You must, underline must, go through suffering and chaos. It does not matter how spiritual and how religious you are. If you have so much order in your life, everything is working out, relationship doing good, kids are doing well, health is perfect, you must descend into chaos. Yin and yang, we live in a dual world. I did not make the rules. And you have to descend into rock bottom. And rock bottom is not limited to finances only. Rock bottom can also be emotional. Have you ever seen people, even here on TikTok, who lost a child, they lost a loved one, a partner, a boyfriend, a husband, and they descended into chaos. They went into depression. They were doing well, living abroad or living in the country, making money, doing well, dressing nice, living lavishly. And then when that loss came in, they descended into chaos, depression, and then one day they wake up and you see them, they're prophets. They lost themselves, they let themselves go. Nowadays they are praying for everyone, they're doing hour-long prayers and fasting, and they're emaciated, they chopped their hair, covering their hair, dressing in literal sacks, and you're asking yourself, like, this is psychosis, this is not normal. Because my mother used to say this to me back in the day. She said, make sure that even as you're religious or spiritual, you don't find yourself into something that looks like a cult. And when people suffer loss, sometimes in pursuit for that help, because sometimes they're like, God helped me come out of this depression, which is a good thing, because people need that, they need the hope. So every time someone says, I found God, I found Jesus, it's a good thing. When they were in the midst of depression, they were in the midst of a mess, they were in the midst of a crisis, it's good, because that hope yanks them from the chaos back to order. But now there's certain people who get into order and overdo. Now they get into a cult, they become a totally different version of themselves. They're always praying every time, 24 hours a day. They're praying, they're reading scripture, whether that's the Bhagavad Gita or it's the Quran or the Bible. Now they're overdoing it. You can just tell this is psychosis. They're still in it. And someone in my comment section said, you will stay at rock bottom. If you don't know what's happening to you, you will stay at rock bottom for years. There's certain people who've been at rock bottom for years. And obviously the normal rock bottom is finances. But sometimes you can have a mix. You can have a mix of finances are not doing well. You're not paying rent. You're not feeding the kids. You're not able to take care of yourself. And then emotionally you're doing poorly because husband left, wife left, relationship broke down, now you're struggling emotionally, you feel like a piece of shit. And then physically also you're not doing well, you're battling fibroids, you're battling endometriosis, like everything is just working against you. Now you're in the belly of the devil. You're literally in hell. Because even health, you see, there are certain people who have money. That's why I tell you, it does not matter who you are. You see people walking around here like, oh, he's driving a GLE, he's driving a big car. Yeah, maybe they're okay. No, they have their own version of rock bottom. Sometimes could be physical health. That you find people who have all the money, they have all the resources, and now you're in hospital. You have been diagnosed with a terminal illness. You can't eat, or you can't feed yourself, you can't walk, you can't touch grass, you're almost in and out of hospital, you're flying in and out of the country for medication, and you're just like, can I sell all of this just so I can have my health back? Rock bottom. And there's certain people now, you go through brief success. Now brief success is this: you struggle right now, you don't have a job, you don't have a business, you're struggling, sending CVs, resumes everywhere, and trying to apply for jobs, trying to build a business. It works. After some time it works. After 3 years it works. Now you're making the money, you're supporting the parents, you're taking care of yourself, you're looking good, you've changed location, you've changed yourself, transformed your life. And then after 2 years it tanks. Everything goes left. You lose everything. You go back to being a beggar. You go back to asking people for 200 shillings. You go back to begging for 100 shillings. And then you go through the motions, you build yourself back up. You're doing well. People are like, oh, you came back, you bounced back. Then after some time, poof, you go back. And you see, I blame it on religiosity and even the education that we have. We read everything else instead of reading ourselves. Discernment will make you see that this is a pattern. And you see, this life bar, the universe does not care. If you have to sit the exam 100 times, it will give you the same exam 100 times. If you begin to notice patterns in your life, that your relationships almost always end the same time. You have 11th hour syndrome, that it always ends at the 11th hour. Relationship is good, you find someone, a woman, a man, you're doing well, you're dating, it's good, something happens, it disintegrates. At the last minute when you're thinking, this is going to lead into something more, it's going to lead into a marriage, into having children, into having a family, poof, everything disintegrates. Last minute, he goes back to his ex, she goes back to her ex, something happens, jealousy walks in, he passes on, she passes on, something just happens, 11th minute. When it's business, when it's career, you have to ask yourself, what is happening? Thirdly, dreams. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but for those of you who are working on yourself, either spiritually, religiously, whatever, at some point, if you have experienced death in your dream, this is where you wake up and you can see yourself in a casket. You can see yourself in the grave. Like, I saw myself in a coffin, I saw myself being buried. And you're like, sometimes such dreams mean different things. But one of the things could also be that your mind, your subconscious mind, your soul is trying to speak to you to say, we are done. The old is gone. The old you is dead. Your past is dead. Your former self is dead. And you will see it You see, the body is so intelligent. We are so intelligent. Science hasn't hacked yet the human being and how we function. That's why there are certain things that even science cannot explain. And these dreams, you wake up, you bind, you bind, you bind, you bind, you bind, you curse. You're cursing that which is working exactly in your favor, because it's your subconscious mind telling you that the work you've been doing on yourself, you're no longer the person you were 10 years ago. Now you have gotten out the shackles, the holding you, the emotional, the mental, the physical, everything that was holding you, the generational curses, all of the chains you have broken. And now you have to die because ego death, this is how ego death happens. Ego death is painful, but things have to die for you to be born again. For you to be reborn, you have to descend into hell and see your devils and fight them. These addictions that come to the surface, these things about you nowadays, you feel very angry after this awakening journey, after this spiritual journey, after going back to church. Now your addictions are coming. You feel your excitement and your interest for women is coming to the surface. All of these things are coming to the surface. It's the things that need you to take care of them now, because they were in the shadows, and now you need to acknowledge them. You need to know how to deal with them. But what do you people do? You bite, you curse, you become even more. You don't know how to deal with certain things. But anyway, for some people, it could be like birth. Some ladies, now you see yourself carrying babies, carrying a pregnancy. You're like, why am I about to have a child? Am I about to get pregnant? No, you're about to birth new things. Dreams could mean different things. But I'm just giving you an example. So, if you're not careful, you can have the same patterns, brief success, and rock bottom can lead you into psychosis, and you will stay there for years. And this rock bottom is supposed to be a challenge that is transformed into an opportunity for you to get better. So even the failure, the setback, the challenge is working together for your good, and you're there binding, casting. There's so many people who've built businesses because of a loss. They lost a child and they created a nice business out of it. They created a foundation. They transformed and changed their lives, their mindset, their thinking. For some people, it's health. They got into a terminal disease or illness, whatever, that transformed their view on life. They had near-death experiences and came out better and changed and improved and became teachers and became healers or whatever out of that problem. So that problem that you're seeing is supposed to help you, but you don't know how to sit with yourself, because when you sit with yourself, it's when that life can literally pull the rug off your feet, so that you can be in isolation, you can be in silence, and ask yourself why. Because when you're in the noise, life can be like you're going the wrong direction. You have to take a left. You have to take a left, and you keep on taking a right. And life will have to put you at isolation so that you can go back to your left. But what happens? Sometimes you get there, you're not aware. Others, you feel like jumping on top from buildings. Every time you're like, should I just jump? Should I just throw myself in front of a moving vehicle? Well, in real sense, life is trying to bring you to a place of stillness and silence, so that you can renew, so that you can change, so that you can improve, so that you can take a different tangent. Because your life has been... There's certain people who, after losing a job, losing a business, they went and started careers and a purpose now, pursued something that is in their purpose. All along they thought they were pursuing purpose, and this failure, this setback, this rock bottom is what renewed and transformed them. I think now I'm about to do a masterclass on this. Not a masterclass, but it's getting long. The video is getting longer. I'm like, am I doing a masterclass? Cheers. Have a lovely Saturday.
I have always been what people call a good girl. I was not perfect. I can get angry sometimes, and I like to gossip a little with my friends. But when it came to men in love, I was very disciplined. I believed in love, but I wanted to wait for the right man, the one God had kept aside for me. My friends liked to tease me. We would be in school, and they would point at a fine guy. See your husband there, they would say and laugh. When I said I was not interested because the man was not serious with God, they would shake their heads and say, are you waiting for an angel? This is Ghana, my sister. Men are men. I would just smile. My smile was my answer for everything. I would tell them, when the right man comes, I will know. God will not let me miss him. I was not in a hurry. My focus was on finishing school, helping my family, and going to church. My life was simple, and I liked it that way. Then there was my friend Nancy. Nancy was from my area. She was a lot of fun, very confident. She knew how to talk to men. Her phone was always buzzing with calls from different men. I liked her because she made me laugh. But Nancy always had a name for me. She called me Sister Mary because I said I was a virgin and planned to wait until marriage. She would say, Sister Mary, come down from the ceiling. Life is happening down here. Sometimes her jokes were funny. Other times, they stung a little, but I never showed it. She was my friend, and I thought she meant well. We would go out, and she would try to get me to talk to men. I always refused. I told her my standards were high for a reason. She would just laugh and say, "Okay, Sister Mary, we shall see." Then one Saturday afternoon, we were sitting in front of my house. We were just talking about nothing. Then Nancy turned to me. She had a funny smile on her face. "You know," she said, "I think I have finally met someone you will like." My heart did a small jump. I tried to keep my face calm, but inside I was curious. I tried not to show it too much, but Nancy saw it. She laughed and started to tell me about him. "His name is Fred," she said. "He attends my church. This one is fine, oh. And he has a good job. He's an engineer. Can you imagine?" I just listened. "But that is not even the best part," Nancy continued, moving closer. "He sings in the choir. His voice is like honey. And I am telling you, this guy, he takes God seriously. He's not one of those pretenders. He's the real thing." This got my attention. A man who was fine, with a good job, and he loved God. It sounded too good to be true. My face must have shown my doubts because Nancy leaned in. "I am serious," she said. "He has been single for a long time. He says he's also waiting for the right woman." I looked at him and I looked at you, and something in my spirit said you two will click. My heart started to beat a little faster. Could this be it? Could this be the man God was preparing for me? Nancy arranged for us to meet. It was after church service on Sunday. I was nervous. My palms were sweating. I waited outside my church building. When I saw him walking towards me with Nancy, oh, Nancy was right. He was handsome, tall and dark, with a smile that was straight and clean. He was dressed simply but neatly in a well-ironed shirt and trousers. Nancy introduced us. "Fred, this is my good friend." He stretched out his hand for a handshake, a proper handshake, not holding my hand for too long. "Hello," he said. "Nancy has told me so many good things about you. It is a pleasure to finally meet you." His voice was calm and respectful. I managed to say, "Hello, Fred. It is nice to meet you too." We went to a small chop bar nearby to eat. I was watching him closely. The way he talked, the way he listened. When I spoke, he really listened. He looked me in the eye and didn't interrupt. He didn't try to flirt or give me unnecessary compliments. He asked me about my studies, about my family. When the food came, he didn't just start eating. He looked at me and said, "Shall we pray?" He held my hand, bowed his head, and said a short, beautiful prayer, thanking God for the food and for our new friendship. In my mind, a voice was shouting, "This is it. This is what you have been praying for. This is the man you have been waiting for." He was everything I had ever wanted. He was respectful. He was God-fearing. He was handsome. My heart was full of joy. That evening, I was in my room thinking about the day, smiling to myself. Then my phone buzzed. It was a text message from Fred. My hands trembled a little as I opened it. The message was simple, but it made my heart fly. It read, "Hello. I thank God for connecting us today." After that first text, things moved quickly, but in a good way. It didn't feel rushed. It felt right. Fred and I started talking every single day. Not just good morning and good night. We had real conversations. We talked about our faith. He would ask me, "What did you learn from the sermon in your church on Sunday?" And we would discuss it for a long time. We talked about our work. He told me about the challenges at his engineering site, and I told him about my struggles with my final year projects. We even talked about the future, the kind of house we would like, about how many children we wanted. He said he wanted 3. I said I wanted 2. We laughed about it. He was not like other guys. He would send me Bible verses in the morning. He would send me long voice notes, not of gossip, but of him praying for me. He would pray for my day, for my family, for our future together. I would wake up to these prayers on my phone. It made me feel so safe, so loved. Nancy was always checking on me. She would call me. "So, how is our fine choir boy?" she would ask, laughing. I would tell her how well things are going. She would say, I told you he's a good one, a real man of God. Don't mess it up, Sister Mary. I would just smile. I was so grateful to her for connecting us. After 2 months, I felt a deep peace in my heart. There were no mind games, no pressure. He never tried to touch me in the wrong way. He never made me feel bad for wanting to wait. He respected my boundaries. It was so easy. One day, I told Nancy, he's different. This one is real. I think he's the one. She beamed with pride. It was like she had won a prize. You see, she said, pointing a finger at me. You see, when I talk, you should listen. I would never bring a bad product to my sister Mary. I just laughed with her. Everything was perfect. I was so sure. My guard was completely down. Then, on the day that marked exactly 3 months since we met, he surprised me. He told me he was taking me out for a special dinner. He didn't tell me where. He picked me up and we drove to a very nice hotel in Accra. He had booked a private table in their restaurant. There were flowers and everything. I was so impressed. We ate good food and talked and laughed. He was so sweet, so attentive. He kept telling me how much I meant to him, how he had never met a woman like me. He said God had answered his prayers when he brought me to him. After the dinner, he said he had a surprise. He led me not to the car park, but to the elevator. My heart started to beat fast. He had booked a room, a beautiful big room with a view of the city lights. I was nervous. I told him, Fred, I'm waiting. He held my hands. He looked into my eyes. He said, I love you. I am going to marry you. This is just a celebration of our love. God understands. He looked so sincere. He sounded so sure. And in that moment, all the prayers, all the waiting, felt like they had led me to this man, to this room. The man I trusted completely. The man I believed I would marry. So that night, in that hotel room, I gave him my virginity. I didn't know I had fallen into a trap. And what he did to me next, it shocked me to my core. The full video is up on my YouTube channel. Click the link in my bio to watch. And if you cannot find the video, use this thumbnail.
Leslie Jones, let's talk about her. Her dad was in the army. So what does that tell you? And then he worked. He moved the family to LA to work at Stevie Wonder's radio station as an electronic engineer. So connected. And now she's a comedian and is 6 foot tall and as big boned as tall. That is a whole lot of woman, you know? Let's hear what she has to say.
Understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful, I'm rich, I can fight.
Who needs you to fight?
Will say it, I love men.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't love a stupid man. If you can't be with my peace, you can be with the door.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in your masculine area. Well, why don't you get in yours? I'm sick of men telling me, oh, wait, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Let me give you some tips, Les. How about you stop yelling at men? How about you stop scaring them? Maybe get some therapy and stop being so aggressive. Maybe. Who wants that? Who would want to hitch their wagon to that? Someone that's pointing, that's coming at you, that's yelling, that is telling you how to do things and how great they are. I'm rich. You're not. You want me. I can fight. We can see that. And we don't want that. We don't want people that can fight. That is not where we are in society at this point any longer. Oh, gosh. And then these women wonder why they can't find any good men. Well, because you're mean. That's why.
Everyone was trying to find the unit snitch, and it was me.
I watched that 3-part story, so you don't have to. For the sake of not saying her name incorrectly, I'm just going to call her Nayana. So Diana's a nurse, and she's telling us how she was actually the unit snitch. Essentially, she was working in the oncology unit at her job. She overheard some very unsettling things that one of her coworkers were saying. Now, at the time, she said that she was a brand new nurse, and so were the other two nurses that were involved in the situation. She named them Liz and Gabby. Now, Liz worked in the daytime with Diana, and Gabby worked at night. Now, Gabby was a little popular around their job, and Liz and Gabby are like besties at work. Diana said that she kind of kept to herself. She wasn't really with the whole like buddy stuff when it was at work. Anna lets us know that in her new unit, if they were having a lower census, that other patients from other units might get transferred over to them. So in the case of this particular patient, that's exactly what happened. She was in the ICU and she was getting a Benadryl drip. She was being treated for like episodes that she was having that were very severe. She would have hives and her voice would get really high pitched. Diana says that she was on a PRN Benadryl drip, and then when she got to the oncology unit, they don't do drips over there. So they had to put her on an IV push for the Benadryl that was going to be given every 30 minutes. I'm saying these words, I don't really know what they mean. Now, the patient was having episodes whenever. It could be 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it could be sooner. They were constantly having to administer the medicine to the patient. Now, the patient had a full workup in the ICU, but they were still trying to figure out what was going on. She ended up staying in their unit for about a month or so. Now, that was very common for people in the oncology unit, which is the cancer unit. They could be receiving inpatient cancer treatment, all types of stuff, and so it wasn't unusual. But because she had stayed there for so long, at some point or another, every nurse at one point or another had worked with this patient. The patient was so kind, even though she was going through so much. She was super collaborative with the nurses, and so was her husband. He was very supportive. Diana lets us know, because it's a 5-to-1 ratio between nurses and patients, that sometimes during the night, they all have to work as a team to be able to help this patient, because there's no telling when she's going to need the push. So one day during a shift change, Diana was in the med room and she was returning the medicine that she had in her pockets, and Liz, Gabby, and another nurse were all in the room. Gabby walks in and she's laughing and cackling, basically telling Liz that she went to the Benadryl patient and told her, oh, you need your Benadryl push, I got you. And she went and basically did a saline push instead, which basically is just water. Essentially it just flushes the IV tube, but she's not actually administering medicine. But what she told the patient was I'm going to put your Benadryl inside the saline flush. She's like, I'll be right back, let me go get your Benadryl. She apparently left the room, came back with a bag that was just saline flush, and told her, oh yeah, I put the Benadryl inside of it. The patient said, thank you so much, I feel so much better. And so Gabby now is in the room with Liz laughing like, haha, the patient didn't even know. She said she felt better, she must be lying to us about her symptoms. And Diana's sitting there like, this is wrong, like you shouldn't do that. If the patient has medicine prescribed to her, you have to administer it. Gabby's just so proud of herself for tricking the patient, though apparently later on they find out that she never even went to the med room to get the Benadryl. She never reported anything. There was no paper trail of her ever doing this to the patient. It was the end of Diana's shift. She goes home, she returns the next day, she does all the things that she's supposed to do at the beginning of the shift, and then she goes into the office. She asked the manager and supervisor if she can talk to them, and she told them exactly what she heard from Gabby, who she was saying it to, when it happened, every detail that she can think of. Diana also asked the supervisor and the manager to keep her tip anonymous because she didn't want to deal with retaliation. At the end of the day, Gabby was one of the popular nurses. She didn't want her working environment to turn hostile. Apparently, Gabby was going around bragging about her little trick that she did on the patient, telling 3 or 4 other nurses along with the charge nurse, and apparently the charge nurse was sitting there laughing with her. Diana was really pleasantly surprised that she got positive feedback back from her supervisor and manager about reporting this incident, because apparently a bunch of other nurses know about it, but nobody else reported it. Diana went through the rest of her shift, and Gabby was supposed to be coming back later on that night for her night shift. Diana saw for the first time ever her supervisor stay until the end of the shift to wait for the shift change to happen to talk to Gabby and handle the situation. Naya went home, she came back the next day for work, and Liz approached her and was like, oh my god, did you hear what happened? And Anaya's like, no, what happened? Liz is like, Gabby got fired for what she did. And Anaya, again, is not trying to get any retaliation, so she acts surprised. She's like, are you serious? She got fired over that? I had no idea. Anaya goes on to tell Liz, well, what she did was technically wrong. You shouldn't withhold medicine from patients that have been prescribed it. And Liz is like, yeah, but still. And Anaya's like, I feel you, and she just walks away. So now for the next 2 weeks, everybody in the unit is trying to figure out which nurse snitched on Gabby. And they're speculating. They're like, was it the nurse that was in the room with us when she first told me? Was it this person? Was it that person? And because Anaya does not want any heat on her, she's staying very neutral in the situation, but she's also doing a good job at defending the other nurses whose names are getting thrown into the hat. She's like, no, I don't think that person would do it. She's so quiet. Like, no, I can't see her doing something like that. Especially that other nurse that happened to be in the med room the first day that Gabby told Liz. because she's really defending that girl. Like, no, it wasn't her. Nyana ended up working 3 days straight, so she had a few days off. So during most of this chaos, she was actually off. When she returned, everybody's running up on her like, did they question you? Did they question you? Apparently, while she was gone, they were pulling people into the office individually that were a part of the situation or maybe had heard about the situation and interviewing them essentially. And she had to act fast. And she was like, yeah, no, they questioned me, because at the end of the day, they didn't question her. She's the original one that gave the tip, and so they're not going to question her twice. Ultimately, Nyana never got caught. They never found out that she was the one that gave the tip, and she definitely didn't tell anybody because she knew that this behavior was not going to stop, and she wanted them to feel comfortable enough to continue displaying this type of behavior in front of her, so that way she can still be an advocate for these patients. That was her biggest cause. She said that she relates to the patients more than she does her coworkers, and she wants to make sure that they are advocated for. And Nyana did let us know that the patient was never made aware of the situation. She wishes things had gotten better for the patient, but unfortunately they didn't. Because of Gabby's actions, a lot of the nurses really did start questioning the patient and her symptoms and if she was telling the truth, to the point that the patient ended up having a mental breakdown because she just felt like none of the nurses believed her. So she ended up giving the charge nurse a list of nurses she wasn't willing to work with anymore and a list of nurses she would like to continue working with. Nyana said it was really sad to witness it. Even though Gabby got fired immediately and she was reported to the nursing board, the situation still ended up pretty bad for the patient. I'm still proud of Nyana for reporting her and for being somebody inside of these systems that actually cares about the people. And so kudos to you. You guys tagged me in this a bunch. I wanted to make sure that I got it out to you guys. I appreciate you guys as always. Bye.
Let's talk about women wanting to be led by men with zero leadership qualities. Also, like, what is this obsession with being led? What is he leading you toward? What is the benefit of being led by a man? I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it until it sinks in. A lot of women have a kink in unconventional sexual practice. A lot of women have kinks, but they're trying to play it off as if it's something that should be normalized in society. For instance, being submissive to men, wanting men to lead you, wanting to be led. There is a video of a woman saying that her and her husband are trying to figure out how he can lead her in the relationship. 50 Shades of Grey did women a great disservice, right? Because they are looking for 50 Shades of Grey qualities in men who have nothing to offer them but platitudes. If you are trying to figure out how your husband can lead you, then baby, you're the leader. The fuck? I really, really hate that women are trying to shrink themselves so that their husbands feel better about being the more submissive person in the relationship. A penis does not make a man a leader. I can't stress that enough. A woman can lead herself better than any man can, which is why so many single women are so much happier, because it's so much easier to just lead yourself instead of trying to facilitate this relationship where a man is leading you. You have a kink. You have a dominant submission kink. That's it. That's all. You don't need to be led by a man. You are more competent than a man. You are more emotionally intelligent than a man. You are more socially aware than a man could ever be. You don't need to be led. And it's silly to want to be led when you are a competent adult. You have a kink. Wanting a man to have full control over you, over your autonomy as a woman, that's a kink. That's not a normal sexual practice. That is not the normal way that a relationship should be run, because you are a competent adult, and competent adults can lead themselves. They don't need somebody to lead them.
Am I the asshole for not believing my sister had a pregnancy and not reaching out and comforting her when it was proven to be true? I, 27 female, come from a large family of 7 kids. It's 3 older brothers, 2 older sisters, me, and then my younger sister. Growing up, my younger sister and I were the closest. We were 9 and 11 plus years younger than our older siblings. We had an extra close bond, and I adored my little sister, and so much of our childhood was spent with us doing stuff together, even if we had different friends and some different interests. Things changed when I was 19 and she was 17. I had gone on a vacation with some friends for the first time. My sister called me on the 3rd night saying that she needed me and she couldn't tell anyone else. It freaked me out, so I left my vacation early and I went home to be with my sister. It took 2 days for her to tell me that she had been SA'd. She told me she needed me and she was sorry that she called, but she couldn't talk to anyone else because they'd look at her differently. I supported her. I let her cry on my shoulder and made sure she got a pregnancy test and an STI panel done at the very least. She didn't want to report it or tell anyone else. She made me swear not to tell anybody, and I didn't. But a month or so later, we got into a fight because I was going out for a while to grab some things. She didn't like that a friend was going with me. She admitted in the fight that she had made up the SA to make me come home early and to be with her because she was jealous. Girl, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? Our parents heard the whole thing and insisted she was getting therapy and seeing a psychiatrist because it was so wrong and concerning about what was going on in her head. I was hurt. Our relationship changed that day. She apologized, and after some time, I tried to move on from that, but with firm boundaries in place. I never forgot about it or tried to pretend that it didn't happen. But I had hope she would learn and never do anything like that again. But that's not what happened exactly. She faked being in so much pain that she passed out and only came clean when they wanted to do an endoscopy on her. She let herself go through several other tests before the endoscopy freaked her out so much that she couldn't keep lying. Then it was faking a relationship because I started dating my husband. She went as far as telling him that I had promised we would always live together and that he better be cool with the multi-family house. Ooh, what? Your sister's got some issues, bro. I made no promises like that, but she was trying really hard to chase him away with that. That's not okay. No, I don't think you're the asshole for not believing that she was pregnant. I wouldn't believe anything. If your sister walked up to me and told me the sky was blue, I would look out the window because bitches be lying. It wasn't even the most serious lie that she told, but I was just done at that point, and I realized she wasn't going to get any better. She was 20 by then, and it had been 3 years of this. Our parents were making her go to therapy as long as she lived with them, but I don't think she saw how serious it was herself. I went no contact with her, and when I got married, I didn't invite her. My parents understood, and my older siblings said they did, but they appeared confused by my willingness to cut her out of my life. They never questioned it much, but I could tell they were taken aback. Really? How are they fucking confused that you are willing to cut someone out of your life who just lies for fucking attention, that tried to use those exact same lies to chase away your now husband? Nah, they're not fucking confused. They want you to continue to be her victim. That way she doesn't set her sights on one of them. I'm now pregnant with my first child. A few weeks ago, I got a call from one of my older sisters saying that my younger sister was recovering from an ectopic pregnancy. I didn't believe it immediately. I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have believed it either. Given your history and the fact that you're pregnant, I wouldn't have believed it either because this coinky dink is coinky dinking a little bit too fucking hard for me. Even though you said it's been proven to be true, you're not wrong for initially not believing it. I wouldn't have either. My parents were uncertain themselves, but hadn't said anything, while my siblings said it was a weird thing to lie about and she looked so pale. You know what else is weird to lie about? SA. The fact that your sister said that you guys could always live together, when in fact, no conversation of the sort was ever had. That you are in so much pain that you're passing out. Those are all weird things to lie about, yet your sister lied about them. It was confirmed when my mom took her to the hospital for a checkup because things weren't healing, and she heard it out of the doctor's mouth that the ectopic pregnancy was real. So I accepted that it happened, but it changed nothing for me when it came to contact. My parents understood this. My older siblings, more my older sisters, were horrified that I wouldn't let go of the past to be there for my younger sister. They told me that it was bad enough that I didn't believe her, but to continue ignoring her and offer no sympathy or comfort was beyond cruel. No, I haven't been there for her for all this fucking time. I'm not going to change that simply because now, for the first time ever in fucking ever, she's actually going through something. These are the consequences of her actions. This is why we do not cry wolf. They said I was punishing her and not leaving any room for growth. You're not stopping her. You're not stopping her growth at all whatsoever. You are literally not dealing with her. Why is your presence the one thing that has to be in order for her to want to be a better person and actively try to be that? I feel like we'll just get stuck in a repeating cycle if I go back again. She might use any attention from me as a starting point for more lies. I have my baby to think about. They need me to be at my best, not stressed or going through turmoil again because of my sister. Maybe that's too harsh and my older sisters are right. So am I the asshole? No, baby, you're absolutely not the asshole. You went no contact with your sister because you gave her 3 years to grow. From 17 when you caught the first lie to when she was 20 and you caught her lying to your now husband. 3 years of therapy and opportunities for her to grow, and nothing changed. Nothing changed. You're no contact for a fucking reason. Listen, I think your siblings fucking suck. At first, I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, there is a big age gap between them and you and your younger sister. So yeah, they were probably all grown and out of the house by the time she started showing these behaviors. I get that. But as hard as they are fucking defending her and they are surprised and horrified and they can't believe, they know. They fucking know what she's been doing. And they suck for expecting you to ignore it and to go right back to allow her the possibility to do this shit again. I do think that it's 100% reasonable that you do not want to break your no contact with your younger sister. What helped solidify that was the fact that your parents were hesitant to believe her when they heard that she was going through this. You've been no contact with your sister for at least the last 4 to 5 years now. They haven't been. And they were still hesitant to believe her. That means in the last 4 or 5 years since you've gone no contact, her behavior has not changed.
If you see my profile picture flashing red, that means I'm live. And if you join the live and comment LeBron James, my co-hosts are going to be getting up and dancing. Join the live and comment LeBron James.
So me with my generous self now give her 4 original wings and one mash bowl when me there work at KFC. And it make me end up off here sleep on one bed with one thinking foot of blood on the whole room like. So me there work at KFC and was actually the cashier. While I work at KFC, there was this day one lady coming at KFC. Grown one, And when she found in a KFC, she make her order and then she go sit down and eat the food. But she come back and say, yo, she not really like how the chicken cook her. I think she say, what about I meat she never like how he cook? So I say, alright then, no problem. Me I go replace it. So I say, why you did have in your order again? And she did tell me. But she actually say, so because there was a mistake, me can't get some extra pieces. I say, why not? So me give her original food what she did order. And then she said she want wings. The wings them just come up. So me give her 4 original wings that she want. And she said she want one mash bowl to me. Say, hey, me give her the store. I'm playing. Me never give her the store, but me give her the mash bowl too. So she get 4 original wings extra and a mash bowl complimentary because she never like how the chicken tastes. Something could have been wrong with the chicken. Anyways, she take it, she go sit down, she go eat for her food. Then when she done eat her food, now I notice she throw everything in her garbage. She come back over the register and say, here. And me look down, she slide on paper give me. So me take the paper. When me look on the paper say her name and her number and said, call me. You know, my brain me did that laughing because me like, that lady, you know, she said me a young youth. Like, why you tell me if you call her for lady? Like, you serious? Anyways, me got me yard. I'm sit down and me think about it a couple times, you know, me I like, you know what? Me I text the number. So me text it and say, hello, this is the guy from KFC. Bro, the reply they come back faster than a young girl. Me I tell him, hey, how you doing? How's your night going? How's your shift? Da 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 da. I'm like, Jesus, I'm gonna consider it, man. So me I tell her, I say, yo, my shift good and we did a text back and forth. She asked me age, me tell her. And then she said, so you're not gonna ask me my age? So me put LOL like, they always ask my age, you know, but me know you're over age of kids age, you know, so me know you're good. Anyways, me ask her and she tell me her age. You me like, oh, for real? Because she actually don't look that age there. So me like, for real? You at that age? Okay. Yeah, eat good then, or jeans them good. Anyways. One day she write me and say, yo, she want to go up on a little outing. So I go with her. It was a Saturday. And when I go to her on an outing, and mind, you know, me telling me, you know, me young, you know, so you now the money, you see me? Bro, woman carry me go I want a little place and I eat food. And me in my brain, me like that woman about to come embarrass me out here. Bro, the woman pay for food one time. It's like she not even wait for me. Me don't know if I see she see it on my face, say, yo, me like you broke her or something, you know, but bro, everything just I get paid for. I'm like, alright. The next time, she said she go somewhere and she want me to come with her. I'ma go with her. Bro, lady pay for everything. Mind you, during all of this time, anytime I at work and she want food and anything, bro, I'm look a nice sweetheart that, bro. Me send it, bro. Me give her that one time. She pull up on the drive-thru. You see me when she order, me tell her order like a small meal for $5. Me give her what she want, nice and proper. So one night now, the lady say she want to see me. I'm like, you want to see me? This I get serious. But me young, you see me? And me I tell myself, say big woman want me. Anyways, put on my best clothes. Put on cologne. Clean and smell good. Say, alright, go. She boat, you see me? I'm reach. Bro, I'm going to the house. Yo, the house pretty like a money. When me say, yo, you don't know them house where the wall them are like mirrors. It place white, but the furniture them, everything just pretty. Yo, no man turn on the light, man. I mean, I look around and I say, Jaja, this is a nice house. Like, I was astonished. Big screen TV bigger than me. On the wall. Anyways, we did a whole vibe and thing. And bro, while we in there probably like around 3 hours ago, you know, somebody started entering that house. No, when somebody enter the house, you know, we're in the bedroom. So me I like, what you mean? So she did it so calm, so quickly. She was like, listen, just follow exactly what I say. Do not worry yourself, don't stress yourself, you'll be completely fine. As long as you follow what I say. So I'm like, okay, I guess she not gonna harm me. So if you follow whatever danger go on right now. Bro, go under the bed. I'm lay down under the bed. That's what she tell me to do. Bro, her husband walking at the house. And when that man walked into that house, bro, the man, yo, me no know if me know he never know say me did it. But listen how this man behavior is. The man coming out the house. Man walk, take off his shoes, walk go literally in the room. Sit down on the bed. Me lay down under the bed. And my foot them they up at the head of the bed. So my head they down at the bottom of the bed. And the dog sit down on the bed. And he said, call her name. You did warm up your food? She said, yeah. Carry food come give him. Dog sit down and eat it. Belch. Big dirty belch. Blam them belch. And I watch TV. Bro, the man no go bathe, bro. The man they come from work and his brother no go bathe, fam. Yo, you see the man belch and call her back for your plate. And she come for your plate. The G just lay down. Like, me no know. I guess he just turn up there and just lay down and just go sleep. The man foot think. Yo, the G foot think is a shame. Brother, the whole time me on that bed, it's like me a suffocate. And I like under the bed. Me know the whole room think. I'm like, Jaja Star. No way me I deal with this. Yo, me have to stay on that bed the whole night. Till the G wake up in the morning, take a shower, and go to work. That's when me could have left. The lady come in the room, she put on a cup of water. Brother, you want to see how she sit down too? She just sit down on the bed regular and just rest the cup down by the... I know say for me just take it and drink it and put it back down there. A cup of water I most me get for the night, cause, bro, she go sleep with him comfortable, me on that bed. All me have to tell you is, boy, be prepared. Here.
Hey, have I ever told y'all how my first foster parents got me to stop wetting the bed right after I went into the foster care system and my dad was arrested for the things he was doing to me? I've always thought that the method that they used to have me quit wetting the bed was the oddest thing, especially knowing that I came into the system because I was being sexually abused by my father. And it wasn't even until after I came onto TikTok sharing my story of my childhood abuse that I learned that bedwetting was associated with sexual abuse. So I just found that even crazier that my foster parents used this freaking technique. Because they were so old, they were in like their 70s, I just don't even know how they found this or even thought of this. Well, they had ordered this little black box, and on the back of it, it had like a little clip that clipped into your panties. And at the very bottom of it, it had like this really tiny little metal piece. And at night, I would clip that into my panties, and I would kind of place it like right over my clitoris, because that's kind of where your pee hole is. And I remember we were trying it out before I used it the first night, and I was like licking my finger and touching the little metal thing, and it would vibrate like really, really hard. Like, it took the smallest amount of moistness, like very, very small amount, for this thing to start vibrating like crazy. So at night, I would clip that in my panties, and when I would start wetting the bed and it would get that first little bit of tinkle, it would start vibrating really hard, and it would wake me up and make me get up and go to the bathroom. And when I tell y'all, it did not take long for that thing to get me into the routine of waking up at night and going to the bathroom. I probably wore the thing for like a couple weeks, if that, but I sure wish I had that thing now. Just kidding. But I did think that that was just so odd, knowing that I came from that sexual abuse and having something down there vibrating on you. Like, you would think, being a small child, that could send you into a trigger. And you would think that foster parents and like DFACS, the system, would know these things and find alternate routes, which I'm glad they did use that way, because when I went to foster care, like, I put every memory of my dad like in this box, and I freaking nailed it with 1 billion nails or something, because I can tell you that I never had a memory of my father, like no kind of flashbacks ever in my life, until I was 27 and that man held his hand over my mouth and my nose. And that's the first time I ever remember like a memory from my childhood like just coming to the forefront of my head. And that's so crazy how being that young and being 12 years old in foster care system and just being taken away from your dad, that little black box didn't send me into any kind of trigger, but somebody's hand over my mouth at 27 years old, because that was the same thing my dad did when I tried to run and go tell someone what he was doing, sent me into that trigger. And it's like that box opened, and it's like, I explained it to somebody else, like somebody flipping through pages of a book, and it's just going so fast, and it's just like picture after picture after picture. And even then, all those memories didn't just come back. Like, a lot of them I didn't remember until I read our court transcripts of his trial. And I think a lot of that has to do with like time too. Like, so much time has passed, over 20 years has went by, and also just disassociating when I was a child, and then just packing that down as far back in my head as I could to survive the rest of my childhood. But yeah, maybe it was because the first foster home I went into, the foster parents were super old, so they kind of didn't put those two things together. Also, back then, 2002, sexual abuse wasn't talked about or researched, or all that stuff as much as it is today. So I don't think, even if I would have went into another foster home, I think they might have done something similar, just any kind of way that they could think of. But that, I just always found that so weird.